Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another Speedcast interview session. I am your host, Zoom CW, also known as Julio. Today we have another special guest. You know her as Artemis Crock on the successful TV show series StarGirl. She is none other than the super talented Stella Smith. So let's go ahead and get her on the Speedcast. Stella,
Hey, how are
how are
you?
you? Thank you so much for joining my Speedcast today. I truly appreciate it. I appreciate your time. How you've been?
I've been great. How about you? And thank you for having me here.
I've been great. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. Congratulations on Stargirl.
Thank you so much.
You totally rocked it. You killed it. Uh, and I'm gonna tell you right now, you were so good in your role as Artemis that if I run into you on the street, I'm running for cover. I do not want to get tackled.
Oh my gosh. I mean, those scenes were so much fun to film. Just getting to be so aggressive and outspoken and just have at it. I mean, it was just so fun to, especially in the football scene where I punched Brian for making fun of me, and in the hallway scene where I just tackle him.
That was such an awesome scene. You know, when you got first, that was a dirty tackle. First and foremost, I agree with your parents.
Exactly. I mean, who does that?
You juked them left and right, and you scored, and you were awesome. And that dirty hit in the end zone. I mean, that coach had it coming.
Oh, he totally did. I mean, people may not agree with my parents' methods, but I mean, at least they care for me, right? At least they want me to do my best. They're pushing me to constantly try and just succeed.
They got your back, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah, sure. Totally.
So can I ask you, Stella, how has this experience been for you? Like I said, congratulations. I'm so happy for you. How has this Stargirl experience been for you? I know you were also on Black Lightning before,
Yes.
but how has this experience been compared to Black Lightning for you?
Oh, I mean, they're both just amazing shows to work on. And actually, a lot of the crew was similar from going from Stargirl to Black Lightning. So that was cool to see familiar faces. But I mean, working on DC shows, it's just so cool to be, especially walking around the set, seeing the stages, and then watching the show later and being like, oh, hey, I saw that set. But it was just really cool to, I mean, both shows were just amazing to work on. You got Jeff Johns as Stargirl, who's super passionate and he's so open to talking about things, which was really beneficial to everyone, I think. And it surely impacted me really nicely.
Nice. Now, how has this been for you? I mean, the success of the show has been, I mean, everyone loves it. First and foremost, I love the show. It's amazing. I honestly believe it's the best DC Comics based show since The Flash,
Hmm.
in my opinion. The rest of the comic book world loves Stargirl. I really haven't seen any negative reviews or anything negative about it. Now, when you were filming Stargirl, did you think that it was going to blow up the way that it did?
Well, I mean, it being a DC show, it's obviously going to have that really good fan reception for the most part. And I mean, but especially with Stargirl, since it was such a passionate project for Jeff Johns, and honestly, there was more fan reception than I thought there would be, especially just, I mean, speaking for myself for Artemis, like I wasn't expecting this much, like so many people being so supportive and just like a really overall amazing response.
And it's well deserved, by the way. I mean, the entire cast and crew. I mean, everything, the writing, the cinematography, the stunt work, the acting, everything has been above and beyond honestly, what I expected. It blew me away when I saw the first episode. The first two episodes,
Yeah.
I got blown away, and I got hooked. Usually if I'm not hooked by the first episode, I'm usually like, okay, I'll watch it later. But
Hmm.
um, here in my household, we were hooked and we wanted more. Sort of like how certain streaming services they upload all the episodes at one time, and then you just keep hitting play and play and play and play.
Yeah.
That that's what I wanted.
I know it was so sad when it wasn't bingeable, but it was also good because, it's kind of good to like have episodes spread out. So it keeps you hooked. It keeps you like looking forward to something every week. But yeah, I agree. It was so sad having to wait for a new episode each week. I remember every time like episode ended, my family would be like, okay, now what do we do with our lives for a week?
Was it an event in your household with your family when
Oh
when
yeah,
you knew you
totally.
were going to be in the episode? Did you guys get the popcorn ready and all that stuff?
We well, we had the DC Universe app and we stayed up till midnight to watch it because it airs at midnight over here in Atlanta. And yeah, we would stay up, watch it, and then be up for like 2 hours just talking about it, talking about how great it was. And then usually the next day it would air on the CW or 2 days after. Yeah, 2 days
Yeah.
after, I guess, considering.
Mhm.
And it would air on the CW, so we watch it again. And but we would watch just one episode over and over again in our household.
That's awesome. I love the scene. The one scene that stands out besides the football scene is the one where Neil Hopkins and Joy are about to go out and do their assigned work, if you will,
Hmm.
that Icicle has given them, and they're telling you, honey, make sure that you do your crunches and your sit-ups and you know all these things, right? And the look on your face is just priceless. Can you talk about that scene?
It was, well, when we filmed that scene, it was like 2 a.m. So we were
Oh
all just kind
wow.
of loopy and I mean there, but not fully mentally there, maybe as you will. But I remember it was just so hard trying not to laugh because a lot of that scene was improv between Neil and Joy. They would go back and forth between the exercises, like, oh, be sure to do side crunches, pull ups, push ups, whatever, and just keep going on. And I remember just sitting there for just trying to sit there and just keep us like a dead look on my face. Like it was super, super hard, but I mean, we got through it, but it was definitely super funny to be there and be shooting it.
Kudos to you because I don't think I would have been able to keep a straight face during any of those takes because that's how funny they are.
They're hilarious. I mean, just watching them go back and forth and just the scenes with them, they're like my favorite scenes in the episode.
Going back to Neil and Joy, how was it working with them? How was that experience?
Oh, they were great. I mean, they were like almost like my real parents on set because I mean, they were just so encouraging and I just kind of based my personality traits of Artemis around how they acted in their characters. And but the way they bounce off each other, the way they improv, they just go at it. I mean, it was super cool to watch and it was really just I think I learned a lot just watching them.
That's so awesome. Thank you for that. Um, Before you landed the role, were you yourself, into the comic book genre, whether it be via comics or TV or film? Were you already aware of your character of Artemis Crock?
Not before any of this. I watched like comic book films. I watched Avengers. I watched like Wonder Woman, Justice League, but that was more, I guess, like the mainstream DC and Marvel stuff. But really, I guess stuff like Stargirl, the Justice Society, and all of that stuff, I didn't get into until I got the role, and then I figure out what the show was going to be about. So obviously, I kind of familiarized myself with it then. But yeah, for the most part, no, I wasn't into stuff before all of this.
Did you realize when you were reading for the role, did you realize, I mean, you did realize the magnitude because you had done Black Lightning, but did you, in the
I
back of your
actually,
mind,
I actually did Stargirl and then Black Lightning. I actually filmed Stargirl before Black Lightning.
what?
Hmm.
Wow.
I filmed Stargirl. I we ended in like August, and then I started filming Black Lightning in like October, and I worked like 2 episodes on that,
Oh
like
wow.
October and
Oh,
November. Yeah.
that's awesome. I was not that's that I was not aware of that. That's awesome.
Yes, they're amazing.
Um, wow. Uh, I met Chris Williams at San Diego Comic-Con, and he's one of the nicest guys ever.
Oh, he's so amazing. I mean, he was another one, just such a joy to work with. I mean, everyone on both sets were amazing. I can't say anything negative about anyone truly because they were all just so kind, so welcoming to me.
That's awesome. Everyone that I've interviewed from, from Stargirl has been amazing and has been humble. And I mean, I'm truly happy for everyone. I'm happy for you. Um, I gotta ask, are you ready now after this has come out and has been so successful? Are you yourself ready for what's to come? What I mean by that is, are you ready for the fandom? Are you ready for the cons? Are you ready for, where your character might take you next?
Oh yeah, I mean, just from the even though I'm an actor in the show, even looking at from the perspective of like a fan of the show, I'm just excited to see where the character goes, where the story goes. But I mean, just to be involved with this project is so like such a cool feeling. And then, I mean, just the fan reception has just been amazing. Everyone being so supportive, saying amazing things about what they want to see Artemis do. And yes, I'm totally ready for that.
That's awesome. I know that, and like I talk about this with all the actors. I know that you guys sign non-disclosure agreements.
Mhm.
So if you can't answer this, totally understandable. Um, can you tell us, and are you confirmed? You don't have to answer. Once again, you don't have to answer. Are you confirmed for season 2?
I haven't heard anything about production. I've heard rumors that we're going to start in 2021, but with the whole COVID thing, I don't think anyone has been confirmed yet. I could be totally wrong, but um, yeah, everything's just kind of in the air at the moment, at least like from what I know. But I don't know. I could be totally wrong.
Understandable. We don't know, right? I mean, until you get that, until they reach out to you and they show you that script, we don't know. So, on that note, how excited are you? If they do bring you back, how excited are you to get a suit, the Artemis Crock suit, and possibly your bow? Um, how excited are you to get both of those things if they do bring you back?
Oh, I mean, it'd be really cool. It just depends on, I guess, what direction they take the character. But I mean, obviously, I'm open to playing either side, good or bad. But I mean, honestly, I'm cool with whatever. They just, I know the costumes on the show, they're amazing. They're top notch. And yeah, I mean, I'm just really interested to see what happens next.
I mean, from Stella's view, from your view, from your perspective, how would you like your character to move on from the events after 13? How would you like to see your character? Would you like to see your character join the ISA or the JSA?
Well, even though I guess Artemis is a very competitive person, she always has to be at the top of whatever she does, and she was kind of raised that way by her mom and dad. Um, I didn't really see her as a mean person per se, I guess, because even though she's always playing with her friends, she has friends. She's not like a total mean bully at school, but even with her friends, we see she has to assert her dominance over them. And even in the football field, she's not just going to let someone get away with something. She's always going to strike back at them. But I mean, even through all that, I didn't really see her as like she's purposely going out of her way to hurt someone. So even though her parents are villains, I'd be interested to see either way, like good or bad. I mean, I can see interesting ways to play both.
Yeah, because at that point you still don't know, right? You still don't
Mm-hmm.
know 13 that your father is Sportsmaster and your mother's Tigress. So
Nope.
I'm so excited to see where that goes. I had Max France a couple of weeks ago,
Hmm.
and he was talking about a scenario where they might, your family might be taking him in because of what happened to his mom, and I mentioned to him, wow, that would be very awkward for the viewers, right? Because
Yeah,
knowing that your parents took his mom's life, that would be insane. How would you feel about that?
that would be so like awkward, but also so fun at the same time. Because I mean, this show has already dealt with awkward dynamics because the Camry and Courtney dynamic, how Courtney has a crush on his her arch nemesis son. So, but I mean, Isaac would definitely think that Courtney did it. I think, at least that's what I think. But yeah, there's obviously going to be some resentment towards me if he finds out that my mom did that. And yeah, I mean, it would be a really cool dynamic to show.
I can't wait how they write that scene. You talked about the two awkward, with that awkward scene with, Cameron, having dinner over at Courts. That was very awkward, by the way.
Oh
And
yeah.
also there was the one with Shiv, right? With Shiv coming over and eating chocolates with Court. Those were very awkward, and I can't wait. I can't wait to see how they take your character and Isaac and Max's character. Um, have you gotten a chance to see any of the Young Justice animation yet?
I
Um,
did. I watched season 1 and season 2 of Young Justice, and I really enjoyed Artemis's character in that.
excuse my French, she's a badass, right?
Oh yeah, totally. She is. And I mean, it's so cool to watch that and be like, wow, I'm playing a character with the same name.
That's awesome. I mean, I don't know how you could integrate Wally West into, I mean, anything's possible. We are in the multiverse, right?
Hmm.
I believe you guys are on Earth 2, if I'm correct.
Yes.
So anything can happen. We don't know where this character might go, but it's very exciting to see. Um, so I got to ask you this: uh, what what advice? And this is a fan question, by the way. What advice would Stella give you or give Artemis in real life? Like, if you could talk to your character, what kind of advice would you give your character moving forward?
In terms of personality, I would say, it's great how you always want to be you're so determined, but also maybe cool it down just a little bit. But I mean, I honestly kind of love that about Artemis, though. She's so competitive, driven, and determined, and it's just really cool to see, especially scenes with her parents or with her friends, and she's just out there.
In real life, how close, I mean, are there any similarities between you and Artemis in real life, Stella?
Personality wise, not really. She's way more outspoken than I am, but I guess as far as like supportive parents, I've always had supportive parents that like trust whatever I do. They support me in whatever path I may take. And I guess I was involved with sporting activities, where I did do a little bit in high school, but not as like football, not something like that. Just like a really toned down version of Artemis.
Nice. And thank you for that. Do you feel that your character next season, do you feel your character is going to be given more of an opportunity to grow? I mean, do you think you're going to get more opportunity to showcase your amazing talent?
Oh, thank you. I would love to see more of Artemis. I mean, speaking from a fan's perspective, I think she's just a really cool character, and I would love to see what direction they take her, or maybe how she goes, like with finding out who her parents are, and trying to make that decision, the ultimate decision in the end.
And changing gears a little bit, what was it that inspired you, Stella, to get into acting? Was there like a moment in your life? Uh, were you watching like a movie? Were you watching a play? Were you watching a sitcom where you said, in your mind, you said, "That's what I want to do. I want to get into that business." Was there like a life-changing moment that that came to you to get into this business?
Well, when I was 4, I always asked my mom, like, how do you get to be on TV? How do you get to be an actor? And my mom was like, oh no, you have to have a crazy mom. I'm not going to get into that. I mean, it just seems like a crazy business. And actually, when I was 8 years old, there was this contest to be on a billboard for this local pizza chain. And my mom just submitted me for fun. We didn't really think of anything of it, but I won. And then at the photo shoot to like be on the billboard, they were like, "Oh wow, you should do modeling." And my mom was like, "Oh, wouldn't that cost a lot of money?" And they told her, they were like, "No, if you're doing it right, then it shouldn't cost anything." But from there, basically, I just started doing acting classes since it always seemed like something I'd be interested in. And I started acting classes when I was about 9 years old. And basically, it's just been happening ever since. I've been constantly coaching, doing training, and
Mhm.
just trying to stay active in acting.
When you were reading for this role, did you know that it was for a DC part? You did know, right? Or
Yes, it said Stargirl and it gave me the character description, but the only thing that was different was the character name, and the sides were a little bit different, but actually the scene I auditioned with, it was a scene they used in the show. It was the football scene, but I was yelling at this guy in the audition because he wouldn't pass the ball to me, or he was just ignoring me on the field. So I mean, there's some changes, but it was actually very similar. And the breakdown of the character was that she was a star athlete, and they wanted a half Asian, half Caucasian girl. It was like around 15 years old, 15 to 18. But yeah, that's all it's in the breakdown, I'm pretty sure.
I talked to Mark about this earlier. Did you, was there a little bit more pressure on this audition because you knew it was for DC? Does that add pressure, or does that inspire you more to really nail the role?
Well, I mean, every time you get an audition, I guess, as an actor, you just kind of go, wow, it's like another chance to, I guess, grow as an actor, learn. But I mean, it's really cool to look at a project that you're auditioning for and be like, wow, it's a DC show. This would be really cool if I got it. But you never really imagine what it would be like to get it. Because I mean, you've been rejected so many times as an actor, so you just kind of get used to it. But it was really cool to, it was really cool, especially since like they were looking for someone like half Asian, half Caucasian. So I was like, wow, I actually stand a chance at this one. And I was in like, I want to say like a few weeks later, I found out I got the role, and I was on a plane, but my mom was texting me. She's like, "Hey, I think you got the role." And I didn't really understand because, it was kind of the way they worded it. It was kind of, I guess, odd, but yeah, I found out I got it and I was really happy.
Did you like celebrate on the plane at all? Were you jumping for joy? Were the other passengers saying, "Hey, look at that crazy girl"? Did you do anything like that? I mean,
I was really excited like internally, but I didn't understand the message because I got an email from my agent basically saying you've been approved for the role, but I didn't know exactly what approved meant. If it was like, did I get a call back? Did I get pinned? Like, what does it mean? So it was a little bit of confusion, but it was also like that
mm,
underlying excitement of, wow, what if I did book this?
that's awesome. You mentioned you were on a plane, and I read on your bio that you love to travel. Um, what has been the most exciting destination that you have traveled to so far?
That would definitely have to be Dubai, because my uncle lived there for a little bit. So I went in visited him for Christmas in like 2018, I want to say. And it was like such an amazing experience. I felt like I really grew as a person, as a like I got more independent, and it was just so cool seeing their culture over there, seeing all the amazing buildings and the sites they had there. It was great.
Did you get any sandstorms while you were there? I'm
No,
curious.
I didn't see any sandstorms luckily, but it was like I stayed in Abu Dhabi, which was like I want to say like a few hours just outside of Dubai. But yeah, it was definitely very different how they live over there, but it was so cool to see.
There's a lot of exotic cars out there too, right? I mean, when I imagine Dubai, I imagine, like Ferraris and, you know, Lamborghinis all over the place because, that's what you see, right? When you see like movies like, The Fast and the Furious, and you see, Tom Cruise and his Mission Impossible movies. Um, when you went there, did you experience a little bit more different culture? I mean, how was their culture different than ours, or what was it that you really when you saw something, when you saw their culture, what was it that really stood out for you?
Well, I mean, I remember during the daytime they had like every day they had a time, I forgot what time it was, but they had a time blocked off where they all had to go to prayer rooms and pray. And sometimes we would just be in the house and then we'd hear like this noise outside, like this music, and that would be signaling it's time to go pray. And it was just funny because I remember I was in a mall with them one day, and all the stores started closing. In just like the middle of the day, all the stores closed, everyone was gone, but they all went to the prayer rooms to go pray. And but it lasted for about like 15-30 minutes. It wasn't crazy long. But yeah, that was definitely like it was really it was like, oh wow, they that's cool they do that. But it was very different than anything they do here in America.
That's awesome. That's a crazy like 15-hour flight, right? Is it 15? No, it's more than that, right?
It was well, I flew to was it London, and then I flew from London to Abu Dhabi. The flight to London was about 10 hours, I want to say. I could be getting that wrong, but and then the flight to Dubai from London was about like 8-9 hours.
Oh, wow.
So it was a good bit of traveling. Took a few days just to get there and get
I
back.
get a little claustrophobic. I mean, I can do Hawaii, and that's 5 hours, and I'm like,
You're like, okay, yeah,
so
never mind.
kudos to you, because and some of my friends have asked me if I can go to their conventions out there, and I'm like, I look at my wife, I'm like, I don't know, want to be in a plane for that long.
You're like, no, it is definitely like after the a few hours, you're like, okay, when do we land? I really want to get out of here. But it it was definitely it definitely felt very long.
That's awesome. So when you were growing up, what was your favorite? Did you have like a favorite animation that you were into, or any series like were you into any series like DC or Marvel series like when you were growing up, or cartoon that you were growing up? Was there anything that you really enjoyed growing up?
Growing up, I mean, I wasn't really into, I guess, like superhero animations,
Hmm.
but but I did watch, the shows like
Oh yeah,
SpongeBob, and
yeah.
this
I
was
love SpongeBob.
I watched it recently, and I kind of wondered how did I watch this as a kid, but you know that movie Coraline?
Uh-huh.
That movie was freaky. I watched it all the time when I was little, but I don't know how I did that because I watched it now and it kind of got scared.
I did watch SpongeBob. So here in my household with my kids, there's definitely a lot of SpongeBob references. We do it all the time. So let's get to some of the fan questions, and thank you for that. Um, what was your favorite experience on Stargirl?
Honestly, just getting the I guess email or text from my agent saying that I get to work on a new episode was just so cool and such like a great feeling like wow, I get to be part of this amazing show like for one more episode. And but I guess my favorite part, my most memorable was the scene where we were shooting with Joy and Neil, the date night scene. And and we were just all cracking up at 2 a.m. It was hilarious. But again, it's hard to say because I mean, every time I was on set, it was such a great experience.
That's awesome. Um, Another fan wants to know, and we kind of touched this a little bit. Are you going to be one of the main ISA villains?
I don't know. I mean, depends on what direction Artemis goes in, but it would be cool to see that. But you know, I'm open to, like I said, I'm open to anything, open to any direction she decides to go to.
Me too. I can't wait. I cannot wait.
Me too.
Any chance we'll see you team up with Sportsmaster and Tigers against the ISA?
I would love that. I mean, just to be a part. I'm guessing that I could be wrong, but I have a feeling that they probably trained me in, I guess, combat situations even when I was growing up, because I obviously inherited that athletic gene from them. So I think Artemis would definitely have some training in terms of fighting. But I would love to be part. I just love Sportsmaster and Tigress. They're probably like my favorite characters on the show. So
Yes.
it would be so cool to see that.
Would you be okay with doing some of your own stunt work if it wasn't too dangerous?
Yeah, I mean, I know some people, they said they did do a little bit their own stunt, but yeah, I mean, hey, if I can do it, then why not?
Would you be open to a crossover with another CW Arrowverse show? Would you be open to that? And which show would you love to cross over with?
Um, I think it would be really cool to see a crossover between like Stargirl and Black Lightning, because they got characters some of the same age, and also, but the Flash would be cool as well. See that crossover, because I know the Flash has crossed over with like Arrow before, and people love that, I think. And so yeah, that'd be really cool to see.
So that would be very exciting. I mean, I'll pay money for that. Seriously, I would pay money. If you could play any other DC character in the Arrowverse world, which character would it be and why?
The Arrowverse. I really love on Stargirl, Shiv. Shiv is like one of my favorite characters, and Meg does such an amazing job playing her. But she's just such a cool character to watch and just to see her vulnerable side opposed to her like aggressive, I'm the queen bee kind of side.
She scares me.
She is. She's very scary, but yet you love her at the same time.
Yeah, with these characters, there's a lot of, and Neil Jackson mentioned this when I interviewed him, is, yeah, these villains become villains for a reason. It's not their mission to be bad, but they have, some issues at home, or they go through some life challenges or some trauma that kind of drive them to the villain world. And for her character, it's kind of sad, right? Because her dad, the Dragon King, is kind of like, I mean, he's a really bad dad. I mean, your parents love you, and they take, they are there for you. They nurture you, but her dad is really just not a very loving dad, right?
No, not at all. I mean, he treats her like an experiment, which obviously has to affect her, and it shows when she's like in school, whatever. But I mean, that's the thing about all the villains on the show. All their actions they feel like are justified, so they don't really see themselves in the villains. If anything, they see themselves as a hero.
And the ISA, I mean, yeah, they're trying to take over everyone's mind, or the adult minds, right? But their goal was to get everyone universal health care and to end racism and all these
Hmm. Yeah,
things
all these
that
great things.
all these great things, right? And I mean, of course, the means that they're trying to accomplish this is not a good thing. But I mean, a lot of people were pulling for the ISA. I mean, I was one of them. What do you think about that?
Me too. Like you just, I mean, for them, their kind of attitude is the ends justify the means, and I mean, if they have to wipe out some of the population, so what? It at the in the end, it's gonna be like justified.
Yeah, I mentioned to Neil that, Sportsmaster and Tigress, uh, their idea of a vacation or a getaway from Blue Valley would be to go to Sturgis and pick fights in a biker bar. That would be their dream vacation, right?
Oh, totally.
Because they're caged in Blue Valley. They just want to be released, right?
Hmm. It's like you put these two murderous supervillains in like a happy little like American dream home, and then they're just kind of like, wait, I want out of here. I need to go kill someone. And I mean, they do. The coach.
How would it make you feel in the future when this pandemic is over and once you get your suit and there's a cosplayer that cosplays as you and they come up to you, let's say that you're at a line signing autographs and doing meet and greets, how would it make you feel to see someone that's a diehard fan to dress up as you and ask you for your signature?
I mean, that would be a crazy feeling. I mean, you just feel I'd be feel filled with so much gratitude just to have people that support you, that love your character that much in the show. But I mean, it would be probably like, at least for the first few times you saw it, you'd probably be like, wow, it'd probably be like almost a crazy feeling, but like almost kind of weird at the same time, but also like, wow, that's so cool. I mean, you just feel so grateful.
It would be like an out of body experience, right? Like, oh my
It,
God, like,
it's like, wait. Yeah, exactly.
are they here for me? I mean, that's just awesome, and you deserve it. You like I said, you killed it this season. You were
Thank you.
amazing. Have you been to like Dragon Con out there in Georgia?
I have been to Dragon Con. Actually, I want to say I went last year for I didn't go to the actual panels, but I went to the parade part. And actually, no, I went to a Cobra Kai panel. Yeah, I went to a Cobra Kai panel. And but I mean, the parade was crazy. You see all these cosplayers, and then they like, some people really go like, they do their cosplays top notch, and so that's really cool to see. And then just to imagine like seeing StarGirl at it one year, that'd be really cool.
I can't wait to see you at a panel. I can't wait for for this pandemic to be over first and foremost, and for you to come out to the West Coast, possibly to like San Diego or LA Comic Con, and like I said to the whole cast and crew, I would love to meet you guys in person, because you guys are all amazing individuals. The whole cast and crew. Kudos to everybody. We do have some questions in the chat. Let me see what we have here. Oh, someone just said, Stella, I love you.
Oh, thank you. I love you too.
If you guys have any more questions, feel free to type in your questions. There should be a question mark box at the bottom, so type in your questions. Stella, while we're waiting for more questions, is there anything you would like to say to your fans?
What I want to say is just thank you guys for being so supportive. Thank you guys for the amazing feedback of the show. And just, I mean, it's been crazy to see all of these, I guess, fan edits, fan art, fan videos, and just watching that. And I never expected to get that much. And I think I can speak for everyone saying that, I mean, thank you for for tuning into the show and being so supportive.
That's awesome. Very well said. You know, you guys got, I believe it was like a 95% certified fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes. And for a DC show to do that it's just awesome
Oh,
and
yeah,
well
totally.
deserved. We did get another question. See here. I don't know if you could read that, Stella.
What is your favorite episode? As far as fight scenes, episode six, totally episode six, with the Sportsmaster and Tigress versus the JSA. That was such an amazing fight scene. But storyline, I really liked episode 10. Like, episode 10, the Brainwave Junior, I think.
Yeah.
It
Oh,
was
that
it was
was.
so sad, like a roller coaster of emotions. But I mean, it was such an amazingly directed, written episode.
I was. And spoiler alert to all you guys that are out there that have not finished. Please shut your ears.
Yeah.
Um, did you think that was gonna happen? I mean, to Brainwave Junior, did you expect that? I didn't expect that.
No, not especially not that early. I mean, he just got recruited to the team and then that happened. Oh my God, it was such a shocking moment, but also it just made the show that much better.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I think you're absolutely right when you can't get too attached to a character, especially a major character, and that happens. It's just a turning point, and I think it makes the show more receptive because of it, because no one is safe, right? Um, it's almost like watching The Walking Dead or something.
Oh yeah, where you're just every new episode you're like, please no one die, please no one die.
But yeah, that episode had me. I'll be honest, I was balling. I was out of control. Um,
Right too.
that one, and I mentioned this to Neil, the one where his wife was dying of cancer. That one had me bawling, because I have a couple of sons myself, and that was very hard to watch. It was an emotional roller coaster, and I look forward to more of that next season. When you can move me, I know it's good. You know,
Oh yeah,
it is
definitely.
right. It doesn't take expensive CGI or it's about the writing and the acting, and you guys have totally killed it this season.
I think, I mean, I agree with you totally all what you said, but I mean, just the writing of those scenes, especially those heartfelt scenes where especially dramatic moments like that are happening. I mean, that's what makes the show special.
Where do you go, Stella? Let's say next season you have to do one of those difficult scenes, those emotional, heartfelt scenes. As an actress, where do you go to get those emotions? I mean, I know it's very hard to do, and I talked to Neil about this. How do you get that emotion out?
I know everyone has like different ways of doing it, but for me it's kind of a build up to the final, I guess, emotional peak scene. Say if you're that character, you dealt with like different points, starting points, and then leads to another, and then finally you just spill out all of your emotions. But I would say it's definitely a gradual thing, and it's kind of hard to do like right on the spot if you don't know anything about what happened with that character, like the past of that character, the future, you know.
Yeah. I've heard that, one of my friends was saying that that some actors are so good at that, you know, they even ask the director which eye do you want the tear to come out of? That's
That's
insane,
crazy.
right?
That's crazy. I don't know how they can do that. How they can make it just I don't understand how they have that much control over their body like that.
Would you be open to some of those heavy scenes next season, or would you prefer more lighter scenes like the ones that you had this season, or heavier scenes? What would be your preference, or just throw me anything you got?
You know, definitely those heavier scenes are they make such a big impact on the audience. But obviously the lighter scenes are cool because they're just kind of lighthearted fun. But then
Yeah,
also when you watch those heavy when you watch those heavy moments of a episode or a series, and you're just kind of and it really just impacts you, I feel like that's what makes the show great, is when you're just so like hooked in the show, hooked in a character, is that when moments like that can really just impact you, and you after the episode's finished, you're just kind of sitting there like, wow. that really just happened. It made me
It's
cry.
yeah, and it's such a good feeling too afterwards because you're like, oh my God, that was such an emotional scene. It was heavy at the moment, but you feel relieved afterwards.
Hmm. Totally. You really do. I mean, it's especially when you have like really good actors or really good writing, which I feel like Stargirl has all of that. But especially and those more emotional scenes
Yeah,
where they hint like Henry or Icicle's wife. Hmm.
yeah, definitely. We have one more question here. Stella, I don't know if you can see it there.
Favorite DC Comics slash series character apart from Artemis. Um, I really like Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is so cool.
Yes.
And I mean, even when I wasn't into comics, I would always look forward to seeing those movies. And I really can't wait to see the new one coming out.
Yeah, I can't either. I mean, it's been delayed, right, because of the pandemic, but
Hmm.
wow, I mean, it looks amazing,
It
and
looks, I mean, the trailers look amazing. It
I
just,
cannot wait. We
if
have
they're
one
able
more
to get
question.
like,
Oh, go ahead.
I'm saying if they're able to get like the same kind of, I guess, tone or not tone, feeling of how they captured, from the first movie, then the
Mhm.
movie's gonna be amazing.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. My wife's a huge Wonder Woman fan, and she has been dying to see it, just as much as she was dying to see every single episode of Stargirl
Hmm.
every week. And she was asking me, like on Saturday, did it come out yet? Did it come out yet? Is it out yet? I go, no, it comes out till Sunday. And that's how addicted we were.
Yes.
I don't know if you can see the next question, Stella.
Who you think is the most dangerous villain in Stargirl? Brainwave. Brainwave, totally. I mean, come on, the guy can kill you with a single thought. So, I mean, I can see why they put him in the coma because they just took out the strongest member of the Injustice Society. But, bringing him back, I think, to like finish their ultimate plan. But then it was just, especially, that scene with Yolanda and him, or Brainwave Jr., everyone was like, "Oh my god," because I thought he was alive as well. But it was just a trick by Brainwave.
I was so happy when I saw him. I was like, yes, he survived. No, he did not.
No. Oh my god.
You're absolutely
Well,
right. He could just kill you with giving you an aneurysm. It's insane.
mm-hmm. I mean, the fact that he was able to convince Yolanda that he was Henry, it was that scene was
Yeah,
so shocking.
that was heavy too. I was a wreck.
Mm-hmm.
You got two
Oh yeah.
more questions here. Let's see. Let's see. I don't know if you can see that.
Do you think Stargirl could lead into a live-action Young Justice show because Artemis is a main member of that team? Who knows? I mean, it just depends. I guess it really depends on what direction Artemis takes. If she's a hero or she's a villain, or she will take a direction. That would be really cool to see. Because I mean, I loved Artemis and Young Justice, and I think this show is definitely pulling elements from Young Justice, say, and the comics. But ultimately, it's Jeff Johns' vision, so
Yeah.
he's like the main. He has creative control over it.
Let's see. We have a couple of more questions. Oh, here we go.
Would you rather Artemis be an archer or Tigress Jr.? You know, I would love to see. I mean, I feel like I keep saying this, but I would love to see either direction because it would be so cool to see her just take a direction if she decides to follow her parents' footsteps, or maybe she doesn't want to be like them.
Yeah.
But I think I could see a really cool way to play, like, say, the Artemis from Young Justice. I could see fun ways to play that, but I could also see really cool ways to play the villainous Artemis in the comics.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Stella. Um,
Thank you.
I truly appreciate your time. Thank you for joining my Speedcast. You know, um, you were so amazing this season, and I'm so excited for you. I can't wait to see more of your character next season. Fingers crossed.
Yes.
And I can't wait to see where your character goes.
Thank you so
Um,
much.
thank you, Stella. Is there anything else you would like to say to your fans before we end?
Well, I really hope you guys enjoyed the season as much as I did, and I guess tune in for season 2 when it eventually airs.
And will you be willing to come back after season 2?
Oh, totally, totally, definitely.
Thank you so much, Stella. I
Of course,
truly
thank you.
appreciate you. You rock. You totally rock. And like I said, I'm so excited to see season 2. I can't wait where this leads you, where this takes you, and and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much.
Have a very enjoyable rest of your day, and take care of yourself with this pandemic.
Oh, you
And
too.
God bless. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Have a great day. Take care.